Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. ADP students, today the topic is power and balance of power. Power means the ability or potential of an individual to influence others and control to their actions. Power is the personal ability of a person to control or influence to others. Power is basically the ability or capacity, legal or otherwise, to carry out desired functions in society. Now, difference between power and ability, and power and authority. So, authority is the right to exercise power which can be formalized by a state and exercised by way of judges appointed executive of government. So let's see the balance of power. The equilibrium of power among members of the family of nation will prevent any one of them from becoming sufficiently strong to enforce its will upon the others. The power equation between states is based on an assessment of each state's relative power capabilities, and this assessment provides the basis for the conduct of relations between them. Balance of power from a historical perspective. From 1648, Peace of Westphalia, to 1789, French Revolution, was a golden age of classical balance of power, when the princes of Europe began accepting balance of power as the supreme principle of foreign policy. So, evident use of balance of power is also noted in the mid 17th century, when it was directed against the France of Louis. Balance of power was the stated British objective for much of the 18th and 19th century, and it characterized the European international system, for example from 1815 to 1914. The concept of Europe from 1815 to 1870 provides another good example of major European states striving to achieve balance of power. The increasing power of Germany began seeing a bipolar set of alliances from leading to the world wars. After World War I, the balance of power system was attacked by proponents of cooperation and a community of power. International relations were changed radically after World War II by the predominance of two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, with major ideological differences between them. After the 1960s, with the emergence of China and the Third World, revived Europe and Japan, it emerged as a component of international relations. With the collapse of the USSR in 1991, the United States as the sole remaining superpower. Some balance of power techniques: alliances and counter-alliances, armament, disarmament, and intervention. From 1648, Peace of Westphalia, to 1789, French Revolution. So, intervention: Soviet and US incursion into Afghanistan, and non-independent France and Britain did not interfere in the Spanish Civil War of 1936. Kinds of balance of power: simple or complex. Simple balance of power requires parity between parts, but in more complex situations, competing for power can achieve balance from additional sources. Channel particular. Channel balance of power lacks a preponderant power, whereas the particular balance of power can imply regional preponderance. Subjective or objective. Balance of power based on appearances is subjective and fragile, whereas that based on actual capabilities is objective and more stable. So, fruititious or contrived. Fruititious balance of power is not based on particular policies, whereas contrived balance of power is based on conscientious policies or either or both sides. Often it is a matter of balancing threat rather than power, so distance, interdependence, and ideology matter. How is power balanced? Often it is a matter of balancing threat rather than power, so distance, interdependence, and ideology matter. External balancing can take place through alliances, but risks dependency on others and requires placing trust in them. This kind of trust and dependency was evident in North Atlantic Treaty Organization and Warsaw Pact during the Cold War. Internal balancing takes place by building up the capacity of the state as echoed with the US-Soviet arms race, in which both superpowers tried to balance power by becoming more powerful themselves. Degree of polarization. Polarization is the process that causes neutral parties to take side in a conflict. It also causes individuals on either side of the conflict to take increasingly extreme positions that are more and more opposed to each other. As parties move toward these opposite poles, they define themselves in terms of their opposition to a common enemy. Trust and respect diminish, and distorted perceptions and simplified stereotypes emerge. Parties assume more rigid position and may refuse to negotiate. The study of polarization first came to be identified with those realist writers who wrote about the structure of the international system, the impact of military alliances on war and peace, and the balance of power. The balance of power and war. The truly unipolar system would make major war less frequent since one state can prevent others from arming for war. War is most likely during transition in balance. Rising power gains strength challenges previously superior state, and given the newness of capabilities, war occurs because each side thinks it can win. All states fight rather than up an opportunity to increase their capabilities. Morton Kaplan's rules of balance of power. All state acts to increase the capabilities but prefer to negotiate rather than fight. All, all states fight rather than pass an opportunity to increase their capabilities. All states stop fighting rather than eliminate an essential state. All states act to oppose any coalition or single state which tends to assume a position of dominance within the system. All state acts to constrain states who subscribe to supranational organizing principles. All states permit defeated or constrained states to re-enter the system as potential partners. Balance of power in the modern world. The creation of superpowers made it impossible to negotiate individual balance of power. The increasing display between states has made maintaining the balance of power very difficult. Ideological positioning also makes switching sides very difficult in the multipolar world. Balance of power. Function of balance of power. Balance of power has prevented universal empires from transforming the world by conquest. It provides peace in the absence of effective mechanism of collective security. The need of balance of power between big powers has proven particularly beneficial for secondary or small states. Balancing power for the secondary states. Secondary states, if they are free to choose, flock to the weaker side, for it is the stronger side that threatens them. On the other weaker side, they are both more appreciated and safer. States ally with those who cannot dominate them to avoid the domination by those who can. Power criticism, balance of power. Power not peace is the overriding concern with the balance of power imperative. War not peace provides the best means to check instability in the balance of power. Balance of power has resulted in the absorption and partition of smaller states. Poland was divided by Russia, Austria, and Prussia in 1772, maintained balance of power. So, balance of power. All the parties are not static units as they can increase their power through armaments and also acquire power through development. And like that, countries are not static units as they can increase their power through armaments and also acquire power through development. It is difficult for states to switch sides given the political, economic, socio-cultural ties. So, complete the balance of power. Completed the balance of power.